Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another battle in the rated special VGC 14 ladder series, where I climb the online ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Today I'm bringing back a favorite of mine, Mega Scizor, along with a couple of classics, Special Tar, Rotom Wash, Aerodactyl, Amoonguss, and Choice Band Talonflame. Scizor, one of my favorite Pokemon from previous generations, wanted to see how it could be used this year. Used it a lot in the beginning before VGC 14 rules were actually announced, but now that the rules are actually out, Scizor is not as good as it really was in previous years, just because it's really weak to Intimidate, Will-O-Wisp, and especially, one of the most common Pokemon in Charizard Y, so hasn't really been that viable, but I'm curious to see how I can make it work. My opponent's going to be a 1445 rated player from Japan, and team preview, oh wow, some really cool Pokemon. Manectric, Throh, Lanturn, Rotom Wash, Gengar, and Rhyperior. Really unique 6 Pokemon. Don't even know where to start. I think Scizor can actually help me in this matchup, so I'm definitely going to bring it. Scizor and Amoonguss is going to be good here. I need to be careful of that Manectric, though, which threatens both. And I'm thinking Rotom Wash, obviously, to beat the Rhyperior, and Aerodactyl for Tailwind support. And I like that. I'm going to go with Aerodactyl and Rotom as my leads, with Amoonguss and Scizor in the back. I haven't really seen 3 of my opponent's 6 Pokemon ever used in VGC in Throh, Lanturn, and Rhyperior is good, not common this year. I have only seen it on one Japanese team. It got a second at US Nationals last year, so it's a very viable Pokemon, even in a different format, but let's see how this plays out. I'm going to lead with my popular Aerodactyl Rotom Wash lead. My opponent's going to go with Throh and Mega Manectric. Really cool. Obviously, Unnerve is going to activate here. I'm going to Tailwind with Aerodactyl and go for a Hydro Pump onto Manectric. Manectric, obviously, the bigger threat right now, so I just want to target it right away and take it down. Because once Manectric goes down, Scizor can actually come in and have a nice time with itself. But let's see if this actually works out. Manectric, obviously, going to Mega Evolve here, get the Intimidate off on both of my Pokemon. Good play there. Not going to matter for Rotom Wash, but bringing me down to -1 is going to put me down for Aerodactyl. And I don't really know what Throh can do, so let's see. Something is protecting. That looks like Throh. Yes. Okay, so good first turn for me, as I don't basically waste an attack. I almost Will-O-Wisp the Throh, but as I said, Manectric is a bigger threat. Oh, my opponent's gonna go for a Discharge. What? I have not seen Discharge Mega Manectric in ever, really. Gonna critical hit my Rotom, and I'm gonna hit the Will-O-Wisp. Hydro Pump, excuse me. So that's good. Gonna do a very good amount, actually. Here I'm just going to go for a Rock Slide and a Will-O-Wisp onto Throh. With Tailwind up, I'm in a huge advantageous position, especially after getting that Hydro Pump off to Manectric, which is what I really need, because I need as much damage as that possible. If I can hit this Rock Slide, then I will most likely be able to actually KO it with the Bullet Punch from Mega Scizor, but that's not going to be the case, as Manectric's actually going to protect. Aerodactyl, going to go for a Rock Slide, of course, hitting Throh, giving myself a 30% chance of a flinch. Rotom going to connect with the Will-O-Wisp too, so a very good turn here for me. But Manectric obviously avoiding all damage. And it's going to use a Storm Throw, which I believe is always a critical hit. Yeah. Not going to do that much though, as it's going to bring me down to my Citrus Berry. I'm going to heal back. So Throh not really proving itself right now. I think that's Throh. I might be confusing with Sock. The two always confuse me. But here I'm just going to go for another Rock Slide and a Hydro Pump onto Manectric. Manectric obviously either has to stay in or switch out or risk a double protect, but that's not something most players opt to do. As you see here, it is going to switch out. I actually think Lanturn might be coming in here, so I shouldn't have Hydro Pump, but let's see what actually comes in. Yeah, Lanturn does come in. And the Wide Guard! Oh, wow. Very cool. Wide Guard on Throh, I did not even know that got that, so the more you know. As I'm just going to Hydro Pump into the Manectric, but Manectric revealing itself to not be Water Absorb, so Volt Absorb. I believe that's the ability. As Throh is going to take some more damage. Obviously, I don't want to Thunderbolt the Manectric, so I'm just going to go for a Will-O-Wisp onto it, and I'm considering switching out my Aerodactyl into Amoonguss, and this seems like a pretty good time to do so. So I'm going to bring back Aerodactyl and Will-O-Wisp the Lanturn. Obviously, looking at the field right now, you would not imagine that we're playing a VGC 2014 game, because my opponent is just using 2 Pokemon that have not seen any use in VGC 2014. Haven't been too oh, wow. Throh opting to go for a Protect, and if you're wondering why it failed there, it's because Protect and Wide Guard run under the same counter, so the chance of him actually landing that was only 1/3. As Ice Beam is going to go into Amoonguss. Wow, okay. But obviously because Lantern is not especially offensively strong, and because Amoonguss is a pretty beast in terms of tanking attacks, it's not going to do very much here at all. And I put myself in a really good position. Tailwind's going to peter out, not really going to matter here, as I'm just going to Giga Drain the Lantern and Hydro Pump the Sock, or Throw, excuse me. I have not, my knowledge of the fighting Pokemon are just so lacking, because I haven't seen Sock or Throw really at all. Rotom Wash is going to come in here. Really good switch in there. Gonna avoid my Hydro Pump, but not gonna really matter. The damage there would not have really done anything anyway. He's gonna get another Ice Beam off onto me, but I'm gonna Giga Drain to heal a lot of that back, especially with Black Sludge. So I'm gonna go from 106 HP all the way to 154 HP, so 48 healed right there. Gonna bring me down to 167, so look how much that healed. That was a really good turn. And I think Amoonguss and Rotom kind of just beat my opponent. I'm going to Spore the Rotom here and Hydro Pump the Lantern, seeing as it does not have Water Absorb. Rotom actually going to go for the Discharge, and it looks like it's faster than my Rotom, so probably carrying a Choice Specs, I'd imagine. Does a decent amount. Rotom's going to get a Hydro Pump onto this Lantern. That's really cool, though, to see the Discharge and Volt Absorb combo. It makes sense. As Lantern going to go for a Thunderbolt onto Rotom Wash. That might not take me out, and it doesn't. And Amoonguss is going to get a Spore off here, so in one of the cases where my opponent doesn't have any way to beat Amoonguss, and I'm taking full advantage of that. I'm going to heal some more from this Black Sludge, of course, and Lantern is going to take more damage from this burn. Here, Rotom has to stay in to take some damage or switch out, but I'm getting free damage onto that, so I'm going to Hydro Pump that, and Giga Drain that, excuse me, and Hydro Pump the Lantern. It's going to faint from burn, or it's going to have to switch out or faint from Hydro Pump, so once again, this is even a better position than last turn, even though I took some damage from that Discharge. Rotom's going to take its first turn of sleep here. Let's see if I can connect with Hydro Pump. Yep, I do, which is really good. Gonna knock out that Lantern. Never thought I'd see the day where I would knock out a Lantern through Hydro Pump. But Lantern's going to faint here, as I'm going to heal a heck ton back. Probably going to bring me back all the way to full HP after Black Sludge with Giga Drain. Amoonguss, one of my favorite Pokemon in VGC 2014, to counter Rotom Wash. As you see, it's doing a perfect job here. Yeah, I'm going to heal back to 211 HP, barely missing full HP, but what a tank. It went down to under 50%, but after those Giga Drains, healing a heck load back. Manectric's going to come back in, and that's perfectly fine with me. I'm actually going to Protect with the Amoonguss and go for a Hydro Pump onto Manectric. I want to bring in the Aerodactyl safely in so I can Tailwind. My opponent makes a nice play here, though, as Aerodactyl is going to, Manectric's going to Protect here, so I'm sure my opponent went for a Discharge with Rotom Wash. Let's see if Rotom Wash wakes up, and it does. Yep, Rotom Wash does go for a Discharge. That's going to knock me out knock my Rotom Wash out. So nicely played there by my opponent. As now, I am safe to bring in my Aerodactyl, and I know I'm not in the worst of positions because, oh my goodness, I just misclicked and brought in Scizor. That was really bad. Oops. Okay, so now I'm actually in some trouble. I'm going to have to Spore the Mega Manectric and Protect with Scizor. That was, yeah. Let's see how I come out of this one. Rotom Wash is going to switch out back into Throw. And actually, that's perfectly fine because I know he can't KO me with an Overheat unless he is Modest Nature, which will give me some trouble. But seeing Throw come back in is good because that means I can Rock Slide Bullet Punch it the next turn if Amoonguss does go down. So I'm not nearly in as bad as a position as I thought I was. Scizor's going to Protect here. Let's see if Manectric actually goes for the Overheat into Scizor. Oh wow, Manectric actually not running Overheat, opting to go with Flamethrower instead. That's even better for me as it's not going to do too much to Amoonguss because Amoonguss is especially bulky. I am going to get the Spore off onto Manectric, and that should effectively win me the game at this point, as I'm going to heal back more with Amoonguss, and Throw is going to take some more burn damage. I have no doubt the Mega Manectric is switching into Rotom Wash this turn. I'm just going to Giga Drain it here and get a Swords Dance up with my Scizor because I know Throw can't one-hit KO Scizor with anything, and once with the Bullet Punch, you should be able to clean up the game by one-hit KOing both Throw and Manectric with Bullet Punch. But Throw's going to Protect here. Manectric obviously going to take its first turn of sleep here, as Scizor is going to get a Swords Dance up. That should lock up the game for me, especially seeing how neither of his Pokemon switched out this turn, meaning I'm free to Giga Drain the Manectric here. Barely missing on the KO, but I didn't really need the KO there anyway, as I'm going to heal back more. And Amoonguss is just carrying me through this game. You see here, if you don't have a way to one-hit KO Amoonguss, it can really just cause your team so much trouble because my opponent's just struggling to beat it right now. I'm just going to go for a Giga Drain this time onto Throh because I want to make sure the Manectric can't Flamethrower me, so I'm going to Bullet Punch the Manectric slot. Manectric opting to go for a Protect here this turn, but that's not going to work because it's going to fall asleep. It's still asleep. Bullet Punch going to knock this Manectric out. Surprising to not see it switch out into Rotom Wash, which 4 times resists it. I expected to switch in both this and last turn, but whatever. It's even better for me. We're going to go for a Storm Throw onto Amoonguss, doing a whole 14 damage. Not even with the critical hits, not very effective, so it's not going to do too much, as Amoonguss is going to Giga Drain to KO this throw with a critical hit. Now it's my +2 Scizor and Amoonguss and Aerodactyl in the back against the Soul Rotom Wash, so this game should be over. It was a pretty long battle, mainly because my opponent had some Pokemon I'm not very used to, but I don't think because they weren't used really as effectively as they could have been, I did not have to struggle very much against it. Rotom Wash is going to come back here. I'm just going to Spore and X-Scissor it, and Amoonguss beats Rotom Wash 1-on-1, so at this point, the game's over. But it's going to reveal the hidden power, Fire, obviously, onto Scizor. But because Mega Scizor is actually pretty bulky, it's going to take that like a champ, and it's going to KO the Rotom Wash and win me the game. So my opponent had a bunch of neat Pokemon. Unfortunately, did not see very good use there, as my Amoonguss and Mega Scizor was actually able to do a good amount of work there. But that was a pretty fun game. Let me know what you guys thought about the game, obviously. Rate, comment, subscribe. 300 likes to bring you another video. And that's it for today, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace.